I just found one of the best AI tool for creating indie games. It's probably the first time I was able to create playable and fun game in just few prompts. And this one is really good and open. You can think of it as an upgraded Claude code setup for game development. Well, inside there is much more than that. There is a modal orchestration using Fable 5, GPT 5.6 and Kimi K3 already, with a lot of useful skills in libraries used in game development, such as animation, hundreds of VFX, both 3D and 2D, multiple add-ons and much more. And it's not a black box. You can inspect every file created and export source code or build whenever you want. Someone even created games and published on Steam. I already created few fun games which I also gonna share with you. So let me tell you more about it. Don't forget to hit that like button. Really appreciate your support. Let's start. So the platform name is Tesana and I've heard about it for a while already. I actually saw it on the X a lot, but a few months ago I was a bit skeptical and skipped it somehow, but recently they did crazy good updates and I decided to give it another try and I was really surprised. Now let me tell you why. I was recently doing a big test trying to create complete game with Godot and my own Claude code setup together with Blender with full AI MCP. I created really nice video and I was also tracking all the expenses and I was curious to compare whether this one will do this better, faster and cheaper maybe. So here's actually the same prompt. I was challenging Kimi K3, Claude, Fable 5 and GPT with this task and actually only Kimi K3 was able to do something playable, but here I got playable results in just one prompt and then I adjusted it a little bit. Here you can see everything that happened. There was some small bugs that I had to address and here's the result. Simple but playable game in just few prompts. And I was wondering like how much I spent, and overall in tokens I spent around 20 bucks. And I also went to see like what asset it created, and it created plenty of assets, plenty of sounds, plenty of stuff. You can see it was creating it quite low poly. You can regenerate, you can see actually all files it created, you can check every script it creates, etc. And since I just did that and my test was taking way longer, I was like, okay, maybe I give it more try and let's take it a little bit more serious. I went to my agent and I decided to create something more decent. And of course guys, if you want to try it out, the link will be in the description with some special promo code. So how about old-fashioned 2D Arkanoid? And here's the initial prompt and I spent around 1 hour back and forth giving feedback, etc. You can see everything that it created and it's crazy good. Like from first prompt you already get nice results, but you always want to give some feedback. And you know what I really liked? Every time that it completes some task, it actually gives you the summary and recommendation, which actually makes sense. And I was just clicking recommendation by recommendation, like combo score multiplier. Of course I did that, and so forth and so forth. There were also bugs, and one cool thing I spot is when you play the game and something accidentally crashes, it actually tracks it and suggests you to fix that bug, like basically adding that crash report to the stuff. That happened only once, so I could not record that. And you can see it keeps suggesting like what you can improve pretty much all the time, and that's really helpful. And that was really cool. Okay, so 1 hour prompting, you can see everything. I can show you all the sprites that it created. Like boom, you can already expect what's going to happen. The libraries that I mentioned you can also access from here, but the good thing is that it can access these libraries on demand. And there is quite a lot of VFX, like a lot of VFX libraries for pretty much any case. That is big difference compared to your local setup, like you have to find this library somewhere. So here's the play, and all what you see is like exactly how I prompted. I wanted it to start like that, so in menu you have it already running. Okay, let's give it a try. Look, all the effects, all the VFX look absolutely perfect. So someone may say that that's a simple game, but I challenge you to try it out, because I actually tried it out to do that in my own setup, and this library, skills, animation, all that knowledge they put inside this agent is really valuable. And in terms of costs, that's more or less the same, because I was using full AI. Basically that's the API to all the 3D AI generators, and you still pay for each 3D model generator or image generated. So basically I was recreating all the games I was playing when I was a kid, and I remember in 2000s it was very popular formats like this breakout, right? So I was trying to do that on the Godot, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty simple concept, and yeah, it was very easy to do, like different bonuses, quite simple and fun example. Now let's bring it further. Here's more serious tests. I did more detailed prompts. I actually brainstormed it with my agent, so you can see the prompts here, and I provided the style reference how I actually imagine it to be. Let's say it's 2.5D platformer. It's not crazy difficult, but making it 3D animations and all that stuff, that might take time. So here you can see all the process. There was not that much iteration. I would say maybe like 10 prompts. And you know how I work, like, so I was playing the game and then provide some feedback when I don't like something or I need something. Yeah, like that. I use Whisper Local, and while playing you can also click this button that will capture the screenshot and attach it right to the chat. So here's the results. And again, I was surprised that I was able to play it and get some fun. And you can basically iterate as much as you want, adding some stuff, editing levels, and much more. And again, as I said, very important thing for me is that you can export everything. Well, you can create some stuff here, and you want more freedom, you want to edit some stuff in Godot directly, just export the source code of the Godot and go edit the level, etc, etc. Or you can export it here and share with your friends. It's not a black box. I saw some other AI tools that do browser based some stuff and you don't really own it, you cannot really get it. Here you can export all the sources. And now let me show you the game I spent almost 1 day building, well, prompting basically, while I was busy with other stuff. And of course it's about Mr. Muck, this little amazing guy, and he has the hat like in Peaky Blinders, or should I say Pixie Blinders. Now here's the prompt history. There's a lot. I also started like with big prompts and the style reference. So here's the image that I start with, and here's the prompts. You can see it. Basically description of classic roguelike shooter, but in paperclip style. I recently became a fan of it. So it's like a 3D but not real 3D, and challenge here was to make these sprites, all these animations like attack, running, natural and consistent. And I was doing something like that just recently with Fable 5, and I had some tough time making this consistent sprites, and this guy actually made it well. I did revision once. There was shooting animation really not fitting, but the next round he fixed it. So here's bunch of prompts, bunch of features. Again, mostly when task is completed, it suggests you some stuff and you either do your thing or you can pick some recommended. That's quite helpful because this AI actually understands the games and the game mechanics. So let's take a look. And this one was really fun personally to me, and I'm gonna share the link and you can test it out. And dang, that's actually playable and fun stuff made within a day while I was actually doing my stuff. And to create all of this, it cost me around 25 bucks in credits here in Tesana, and honestly that's pretty much the same or less that I could spend doing it in my own setup, like Fable 5 full AI for assets, images, all that stuff. Not to say the time you're gonna need to spend to finding all that, fitting VFX, sound effects, etc. Maybe sound effects not that difficult because you can generate it, and I actually tested that works well. You can iterate and give feedback. Same exactly you can do here. Sound is like a least expense, but finding fitting animations and VFX, that's really tough. And here you have hundreds of animations for different cases. You can also explore what other people are creating and play that games. Overall, I think these guys made really amazing job bringing it all together, and I really had a lot of fun. And the fact that you can take all the source of what you created is absolutely amazing. Now, of course, for full-fledged development and developing games in the team, that's not the right approach. You will want much more control. And for full 3D games and Unreal Engine quality, you're gonna need Unreal Engine basically. This one is on Godot. But if you ever want to try creating your first game, this is quite amazing tool to start, and if you get something great, you can export it and continue in Godot, or later try to do something like this on Unreal Engine or Unity. I do have plenty of tutorials how you can create 3D assets for your games or even games itself with AI on my channel. Take a look, including Unreal Engine, Unity, Godot, and more. That was Steph. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next videos.